Hi, and welcome to PSYCHlops. Today we're going to talk about character motivation in video games and why this can be a deal breaker as far as story mechanics go, especially if the game is story driven or even pretends to be. So, if you've played any games at all, you've probably started the game as either the chosen hero or discovered that you were the one prophesied to do some great thing, or you were in some unique situation that forced you to act in a certain way. And that's all fine and follows the generalized heroic outline described in Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces. But why do you act that way? Why do you continue to act that way, even after your unique situation is over? You've saved your town. Why do you then leave to go do other things? What does it matter to you? And no, being ordained by the gods or the king or anything like that is just not enough. Well, let's take a look at what drives motivation. Well, like with anything in psychology, there are a ton of theories, and we can't possibly cover them all, so here's just a short list. First, there's drive reduction theory, which suggests that everything you do is an attempt to satisfy needs or drives. You're hungry, for example, so you go out and do what it takes to get food. Whether that means going to the refrigerator and grabbing some fruit, or, in order to prevent being hungry in the future, you go out and get a job and get money and go grocery shopping, that sort of thing. Another theory is the economic model of motivation, which can be interpreted as a kind of what's in it for me approach. Now, this isn't as negative as it sounds. The idea here is that your actions and potential actions are based around a cost-benefit analysis. For example, there's practically no cost in getting up from your couch and going to your cupboard to get some chips. That's very easy and satisfies your needs right away with little effort on your part, and it gets you what you want. You're no longer hungry. However, it gets a lot more complicated than that. For example, if someone approaches you and asks for money, you immediately, according to this theory, go through a quick cost-benefit analysis of the situation. On the one hand, giving someone who obviously needs the help some money would make you feel pretty good, and that has personal value. That's worth something to you. But on the other hand, you're giving away money, and that money could be used for any number of things. You could get food, you could pay bills, you could spend it on anything you want to, and that has worth too. And in the end, according to this theory, the choice you make, whether or not to give that person money, all hinges on what you think is going to be the most gain for you. Which is to say that you will give that person the money if you believe that feeling good about your actions or doing the right thing is worth more than what the money you give them is worth. And a third theory of motivation is the arousal theory, and this can be basically summed up as excitement management. This approach suggests that a person will take actions to either increase or decrease their arousal level depending on how they feel at the time. So, for example, if your arousal level is too low, a person might feel that they need more excitement, they need to do something, and that can represent itself in many different ways. Perhaps you want to take a jog, or you want to watch a movie that's actiony, or maybe you want to play a game, or any number of options. But if the excitement level is too high, you've had a really busy day, you're, according to this theory, motivated to do something that causes a decrease in arousal, such as reading a book quietly, listening to calming music. And all of this is in an effort to maintain a personally designed optimum level of arousal. And where that line falls is entirely based on the individual that we're talking about. But, I hear you say, what about the greater good? Why does it have to be all about me? What about reasons beyond myself? Well, even morality is not enough to cover the gap here. Things are rarely black and white. Let's take a look at Kohlberg's theory of moral development. Here we see that there are 6 stages across 3 levels, and each stage is built upon the last. There is no skipping. In order to progress, you've got to make it through the preceding stage. And as you can see, the complexity and depth of morality goes through noticeable and important evolutions over time. And yes, many of these levels are associated with certain ages. As such, in a perfect world, the motivating factor affecting your character in-game would be related to their stage. But of course with some wiggle room. After all, not every middle school-aged person has to be at stage 3, and not every adult gets beyond the pre-moral level's selfish personal gain aspect. And with that in mind, it's actually been argued that many people never even reach the 3rd level at all, as it requires a sort of self-sacrifice and understanding that society is only a construct at the basis level, and laws are only what we make of them. This, of course, must be tempered with an internalized sense of justice and conscience. Otherwise, we start heading into supervillain territory, and we don't need to get into that conversation here. The point is that regardless of the given moral implications of your character's situation, it may not be enough to warrant action on its own. Feeling bad or self-righteous about something is just not enough. To use an uncomfortable example, we've all seen the commercials about kids or animals that need our help on TV. And true, we know that helping them is important, but there are many reasons that we just don't do it. The key here is that the action must have some value to us. And likewise, the actions that we're asked to do in-game need to have value, real value, to our character. But why do I even need a reason, I hear you say? It's just a game. I'm just playing it to have fun. If your game has a story, or even pretends to have a story, the because it is there mentality is just not strong enough a motivator for the story to happen. Now that we've got the theory out of the way, next time we'll take a look at some game examples and drive the point home. Catch you next time.